Imagine you're trapped in a forest that has stopped breathing. The air burns your lungs. The sky is the color of ash. Every direction you turn, the world is red and black and moving. You can't run fast. You can't leave the tiny life clinging to your chest. And the only home you've ever known is on fire. This is not a movie. It happened to an orangutan we'll call KIKO. Tonight, we follow her into one of the most threatened rainforests on Earth to understand how she and her baby survived a fire that consumed almost everything around them, and what her story reveals about the future of our last great forests. Our story begins on the island of Borneo. Once, its rainforest stretched almost unbroken, a dark green ocean of trees, mist, and sound. Inside that forest, the air is heavy and wet. Giant trees rise like pillars. Vines hang between trunks. Insects hum, frogs tick, hornbills wing overhead. High in this living cathedral, a female orangutan we call KIKO builds her nightly nest. Orangutans live almost entirely in the trees. They move slowly, carefully, testing every branch. A female like KIKO weighs 40 to 50 kilos. Every handhold matters. Her life revolves around fruit trees, safe nesting sites, and the small body pressed against her chest. Orangutans are among the slowest breeding mammals on Earth. A mother may raise only 3 to 5 infants in her entire life. After about 8.5 months of pregnancy, her baby clings to her almost constantly for years. For KIKO, this infant is not one of many. He is her life's work and a fragile piece of her species' future. But beyond the forest's edge, beyond the last line of trees, something is changing. For decades, Borneo's forests have been cleared and carved apart. Logging roads, oil palm plantations, pulpwood estates. From above, they cut the jungle into hard-edged blocks. To clear land quickly and cheaply, fire is often used. In an intact rainforest, fires are rare and usually burn out. But in drained peat and logged debris, small fires do not stay small. They crawl underground, pop up ahead, and slowly close in. As the haze thickened, KIKO did what orangutan mothers do in danger. She climbed higher, searching for clearer air and a vantage point. From there, she could see it. Not just smoke, but the flicker of moving orange where the forest should have been dark. Fire in a tropical forest does not always roar. Often it creeps. It eats the forest floor first, leaves, branches, dead wood, and only later reaches up. The canopy, KIKO's safe highway, can become a burning trap if flames climb. Her familiar routes, the branchways she's used for years, now led toward densest smoke or ended at abrupt edges where forest had been cleared. Heat rose in shimmering waves. Leaves curled and fell before the fire reached them. Ash began to settle on KIKO's reddish fur. Her infant clung harder, eyes reddened and streaming. Every instinct pushed her away from the heat, but away now meant choosing between bad options. To one side, thick smoke and underground fire. To another, the jagged, exposed cut of a plantation with no shade, no food, no safe nest. Some orangutans, cornered like this, climb higher into doomed trees, hoping the fire will pass beneath them. Others are forced down to the ground, into choking smoke and unfamiliar terrain. KIKO's forest, her three-dimensional home, was turning, minute by minute, into a shrinking maze. At some point, the heat and smoke converged. KIKO reached the forest edge. Ahead of her, a sudden end to trees. Beyond that, flat, exposed land. plantation rows, bare ground. For an animal built for the canopy, this open space is a kind of cliff. No branches, no shadows, no easy escape from danger. Behind her, the familiar forest was no longer safe. The crackle had become a steady roar. The smell of damp earth had been replaced by burning peat. Here, KIKO did something orangutans rarely do by choice. She abandoned height. With her infant locked against her side, she began to climb down. Meter by meter, she passed through layers of leaves and lianas into the thickest of the smoke. On the ground, the world is harder for an orangutan. Heat pools, embers and sharp branches litter the way. There is less to hold, more to trip on. She paused at the base of the trunk, tasting the air, listening for the direction of the flames. Ahead, perhaps, faint hints of denser, darker forest showed through the haze, a possible refuge. Then KIKO made her choice. Carrying her baby tight, she stepped forward. Crossing a fire front is not one dramatic leap. It's a series of dangerous, deliberate steps. Smoke shrinks the world. Vision narrows to a few meters. The soundscape becomes crackle and the occasional crash of trees. KIKO threaded through patches of less intense heat, skirted around burning trunks, carefully stepped over smoldering branches that once held fruit and leaves. Her infant would not have understood the concept of fire. He knew only heat, pain in his eyes, and the steady, solid presence of his mother's body. Behind them, the forest continued to burn. Even after visible flames moved on, peat would smolder underground for days. But eventually, something changed. The air cooled slightly. The smoke thinned from choking gray to a lighter haze. Somewhere ahead, a bird called. Leaves rustled, not from falling ash, but from living movement. KIKO had reached a surviving pocket of forest, a fragment moist and intact enough to resist the worst of the blaze. The difference between death and survival had been measured in meters, and in her decision to move. On one side of this refuge, the landscape was almost unrecognizable. Blackened trunks stood like ghosts. Ash covered what had been thick leaf litter. The layered architecture of the rainforest had been flattened into black and gray. On the other side, the forest was still green, not untouched, but alive. Here, KIKO could climb again, back into filtered light, away from the worst of the ground-level smoke. Her infant followed every careful movement, relearning the feel of bark under his fingers, the way branches sway and bend. For days or weeks, they would have moved cautiously through this fragment, probing its edges, avoiding new fire scars, searching for fruit trees that had survived. Far away, satellites recorded the burned area as a changing patch of pixels. Reports reduced it to numbers, hectares lost, tons of carbon released. On this branch, in this fragment, the reality was simpler. KIKO and her baby were still alive. KIKO's story for now ends with survival, a flash of orange moving through a patch of remaining green, a baby clinging close. Whether stories like hers continue depends on choices made far from that forest. In boardrooms designing supply chains for palm oil, paper, and timber. In parliaments writing and enforcing rules on burning and land use. In supermarkets deciding what products we see on shelves. And in our own daily habits, in what we buy and what we choose to ignore. If KIKO's walk through fire stayed with you, there are concrete things you can do. Learn where the palm oil in your products comes from and look for credible deforestation-free commitments.
Support organizations protecting rainforest and rehabilitating orangutans in Borneo and Sumatra. And above all, keep paying attention, because the fires that nearly claimed KIKO's home are not just about one island. They're about how we value or fail to value the living systems that keep this planet habitable.
Share, like, and subscribe to this YouTube channel